Good to have you once again, Senyo. Uh,
Yes.
One thing that came out at the latter part of our last discussion was how African parents do send their kids back home to have some level of discipline or upbringing the African way. Yeah, but we couldn't get time to talk about it. So, as we
Mm.
have the time less, what do you think about this? Most parents taking their kids back home that they want to them to have the African discipline on the background of our last discussion on discipline kids in diaspora. So, what do you think?
Well, this is a very, very dicey situation or a dicey uh, topic, I should say. I strongly believe that most parents of Ghanaian descent, or most parents who are Ghanaians, okay,
Mm,
who are now living in the diaspora,
mm,
faced with difficulty in raising their kids, who think that the best way is to send their kids back home to
mm,
give them some sort of African upbringing or the Ghanaian upbringing. I personally think this is an individual thing.
mm,
This is should be family based, and it should be a decision that should be centered around both the mother and the father.
mm,
Okay, it shouldn't be something that I'll come to you, my friend JP, and say that, hey, JP, the best way for you to raise your kids is to send your kids back home. How about if it doesn't go the way I thought it's gonna go?
mm,
Then you're gonna come back and blame me that, oh, Senor advised me to take my kids to Ghana and it didn't work out.
mm,
Okay. A lot of people have yielded positive results in taking their kids to Ghana.
mm,
However, it is not always going to be the exact way we think that, oh, if I take my kids to Ghana, they will be brought up properly.
mm.
Okay. Some of these kids, you take them to Ghana and they may feel over pompous. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm coming from America. You can't tell me nothing.
You
And
know,
of course, they let's say you take them to boarding schools, they go and be telling their friends that
mm,
they were born in America
mm,
and they are only here for just a short period, and
mm,
they don't have any regard for our system, blah blah blah, and they
mm,
refuse in trying to adjust to the Ghanaian way. Okay,
mm,
how about that also?
mm,
But a lot of parents have also voiced out that it's yielded positive results. So
mm,
who am I to say that don't take your kids to Ghana? I
mm,
say it is dependent on both parents, okay,
mm,
both the mother and the father. You come together, talk it amongst yourselves, and see if it is a good thing to do. Me
mm,
personally, I won't do that.
mm.
One,
Okay.
because one
Why wouldn't you do it?
I wouldn't do it because, first of all, it's going to look like I'm running away from a place where I've become a resident of their rules and their regulations. I'm trying to run away from it.
Mm,
Okay. You cannot always run away from things that don't work in your favor. How about you stay there and make it work? To be honest, let's be honest with ourselves. We
mm,
always talk about the bad things abroad. Let's say how we are not able to raise our kids properly, how they are not performing in schools, etc., etc. How about the kids who were born and raised in America, who
mm,
have become medical doctors, who have become lawyers, who have become very obedient to their parents, who have become great individuals in their societies? We've
mm.
refused talking about those. I will cite you an example. I know of a friend
Okay.
whose dad, though he has a master's degree, he
Mm,
drives one of these executive taxis. Okay,
mm,
I think he has four sons. Okay,
mm,
all of them are doing extremely well.
mm.
One of them, I'll be going to his graduation this. I think in a couple of weeks. He's
Okay.
graduating from the School of Dentistry.
Wow.
The other one is doing his master's, and the other one is barely just now about to start. I think he's already in first year at the university. The
Mm,
eldest one, of course, was born in Ghana. Okay, so how about this? success stories. Why
mm,
don't we talk about these success stories?
mm,
These are people that we should consult, like, and ask them, how did you do it? You
mhm,
know, what tools did you use? You
mm,
know, rather than trying to run away from the problems here and take the problems to Ghana, thinking that I'll be able to resolve the problems. Why don't I come with a solution
mm,
where I'm a resident of?
mm,
Me personally, I won't do it because one, financial burden.
mhm,
Now you've become accustomed to the lifestyle of living in the United States. Now you want to move back home. It is going to be very, very difficult. It's going to take time for you to adjust to the Ghanaian system. I'm
mhm.
talking about financial wise.
Okay.
You need a car, you need a nice place for yourself, you
Mhm.
know,
No,
all the
not you relocating with your kids, but you still here working, and maybe you take your kids to their grandparents so they
oh
could
no, that
also
is not
have
good.
the
That
African socialization to understand their roots. Like,
that is not going to work. I strongly believe that
mm,
if you bring kids to this world, you should stay with them and raise them in the
mm,
right way. Just
uh,
like our parents
yeah.
stayed with us and raised. I know some of us were raised by our grandparents,
Mm-hmm,
you know, our aunts and all that. However, it is always advisable that you raise your kids.
mm-hmm. Arsenio,
So,
one thing that we can also take away from our African society is the social support system that we have back home. Maybe your auntie, your uncle, they could come around. Maybe your parents going to work, they could take you to go stay with them. But in the diaspora life, I don't think this is possible. Maybe you may have to take your kids to daycare, and closing from work, you have to run to make sure you pick your kids up, like traffic and all those the struggle. So maybe trying to settle down, and isn't don't you think it's also proper, like
well,
to
that means you're trying to tell me that
mm,
those support systems, those people you are bringing in to help you raise your kids, that
mhm.
means you are telling me that they don't have anything doing. Because if they
Or
have
maybe
something,
their grandparents or your parents might have been retired. They are just home, not doing any
well, we
work.
also we also have the same support system here. Don't forget that
Mhm.
some parents here also have their parents who are also living here.
Okay.
Okay, so you can also take advantage of such support systems,
Mm,
you know.
mm,
So going back to what I was saying,
mhm,
it's just like you telling me that maybe whoever you are bringing in to
mhm,
help you, they don't have anything doing. Because if they have something doing, if they are working 9 to 5, they
mm,
have their personal businesses. Do you think they will leave their business to
mhm,
come and help you raise your kids? No,
mm.
definitely it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but one important point that you raised has to do with these kids feeling over pompous, especially knowing that their parents are abroad. And back in like growing up, we know our colleagues that had not even biological parents, but some relatives abroad. Maybe they had a little softer life,
Yeah.
and maybe some of them, the way they may carry themselves, it could even affect their academics because they know
Yes.
definitely they'll go. So that's an important point you raised. But for me, we can't. The controversial part is that we can't also run away from our roots.
Hmm.
We are Africans, no matter where you find yourself. So I think that aside maybe the discipline part and aside the social support system, for them to be assimilated into their root, for them to know where they come from, to know the culture of the language, like especially mother tongue. I don't think those are like bad enough
So,
if you
so
send
they
your
are
kids.
not at all. It's actually one of the best ways,
Mm,
to have you raise your kids.
mm,
But
mm,
all this boils down to finances.
mm.
Okay, it's going to be financially overburden on you as an individual
Yeah,
or
you
as a
need to be
family.
taking care of your home
Exactly.
at base, and also,
Also at home.
yeah.
But what you can also do is you can work towards it.
Hmm.
So during the long summer vacation, if you are not able to go,
Mm.
maybe your wife can go with the kids.
Okay.
If both of you can't go with the kids to Ghana for, let's say, a 3 month vacation, then your wife can go.
Mm,
Or you can also send them to your grandparents or
mm,
your aunts or whoever you deem fit,
mm,
that they have the ability to raise the kids the way you expect them to.
mm.
Then
So
you
you
throw
so you would ascribe to maybe just vacations,
just vacations,
uh,
3 months,
vacation,
and
or maybe winter vacation or
yes,
winter break, and but not like to go
entirely.
stay there permanently to have like education back home, as some do. Maybe they let some, maybe they give birth and they send them maybe for them to spend at least 10 years before they bring them back for them to pick their language. Because you know how some of the kids also struggle to even speak their mother tongue. The parents, especially if both parents don't speak the same language, then the
Yeah,
kids will not even get any of their dialects, be
yeah.
it
All
African, Yoruba, whichever dialect it may be. So I'm sure maybe some also because of the language, they do think sending their kids like back home for a
don't
longer period rather
don't
than just
don't don't also
the
forget that there are some Ghanaian parents in Ghana
mm,
who don't enforce
the
the speaking of
of
the
the
dialects to
local
their
dialect,
kids back home. They tell
only
them don't
English.
exactly just speak only English.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
if your kids were born and raised in America, you
mm,
can also enforce
mm,
that ability of you speaking your mother tongue at home always. So
mm,
for us,
mm,
we speak there, and I'm an Ewe, my wife is an Ashanti. For
mm.
us, kids usually pick their mother tongue easily.
That's why we say
So
okay, yeah.
yes, so we speak the tree at home. They understand.
Mm,
Okay, a couple of my wife's siblings,
mm,
the two boys who were born in America.
mhm.
Trust me, they can speak the language like they were raised in Ghana.
Okay,
Meanwhile, they were born here
okay.
and they've only been to Ghana a couple of times. That's
Mm,
it.
mm. And
So
they don't have adulterated accent.
no, 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 man. When you speak to these kids, you would think that they were born and raised in Ghana.
Yeah.
The ability of the kids to be able to switch from the key to the American accent. Oh my God,
Mm,
you'll be
mm,
so marveled.
mm,
Yeah. So for me, I honestly think just
mm.
taking them on short vacations,
Okay.
for them to realize that they are coming from Ghana. They have a root in Ghana. It's very, very necessary.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I, and, hey, it's always nice having you, Senyu. At least these are things, everyday things we ponder over, things we think about, and bringing it up, sharing our views. Very important, and would always urge our viewers, as usual, to keep their comments coming. Let's make it very interactive, and anyone who wishes to also share their opinion, we are always here to interact with them. Senyu, how do they call your last name at work? How are they able to pronounce it? You have the real
No, 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 not at all.
Evan name Togbeche. How are the whites able to call you?
No, they well, I silent the G so that they can be able to pronounce it. But
Okay, they can they need to keep
to
down.
Betsy.
They call it Tombeti, not
Yeah,
Togbeche.
not Ogbeche. No,
they
no.
need they need
The
they need
gbe,
to,
the gbe kind of sounds strong,
yeah, yeah.
So,
Tombeti.
but trust me, those who took phonetics seriously in school, they're able to
Mhm.
pronounce your name without you even mentioning it to them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It is just that some have conditioned their mind that once the name looks like an African name, they
uh,
will not even attempt it at all.
so that's just by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. It's always a pleasure having you, Senyo. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right.